Welcome in, everyone. I am CBG, the Crypto Bull God. If you appreciate the content, make sure to hit the thumbs up button, drop me a comment, and click that bell icon for all notifications to know when I demand that we go live. Today was one of those days. Look, I'm going to be honest with you as I sip on. I mean, this is straight vodka that I'm just kidding. This is a Sprite Zero. I'll be honest with you guys. Today was one of those days where it was very easy to be like, I don't fucking feel like live streaming because it's not been a bad day. It's been a long day from the sense that my body's just starting to feel the need to get some additional sleep. So we're gonna see how much we can make it through here, but didn't want to skip out on the live stream. We're almost through the top 100 projects, comparing their Bitcoin relativity values. We're gonna wrap things up today, and we're going to take a look at the strongest charts and kind of compare them to one another. That's what we're going to be doing today. Todd, man, as I always say, it's nice to have to repeat myself on this one. Super chats are never expected, but always appreciated. Thank you so much. Todd, you're definitely a strong supporter of the channel, and I thank you for that. Good to see someone from Norway in the house, Mazda Dashcam. Good to see you, Juan. Hello, hello, hello. This is funny kind of looking at this chart. The reason I'm laughing is because not only is this thing bleeding to zero. Remember we looked at Tezos yesterday, the Tezos BTC relativity chart? The value is so small, this reads zero, which is where probably the USD value of Tezos is going. This is a horrendous looking chart. So as a reminder, guys, we made it all the way through the top 90. We only have a few more tokens left here. Let's take a look. Sandbox would actually be really interesting to take a look at. Let's take a look at how Sandbox's strength is relative to Bitcoin and some commentary on the rest of the market. Oof. 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 Not good. We need some more price data in there to give better perspective. That's a rough one. Okay, here we go. At least we can get a little bit more price data in there. Similar story as Mana. These metaverse plays haven't made a comeback yet. Will they? Yes. I actually think, real quick as I'm charting this out and giving commentary, I would not sleep. This is just my own personal opinion, never financial advice. I would not sleep on metaverse plays. The narrative itself seems like, you ever watch Player One? The narrative itself seems like way too much of an opportunistic thing to get in early. I don't think that the metaverse is going anywhere. In fact, I think it's going to be a stronger narrative the more we kind of continue into the future. We're not in a falling wedge here. We're in a falling channel, which is bearish. Okay. This is definitely not a stronger performer. Similar comments as Mana. You know, this BTC relativity chart, like many, has fallen apart. And we're right up against an area of price confluence. Of course, this is a weekly chart. This weekly candlestick hasn't printed yet. But we're right at an area of price confluence. If we lose this zone here, I mean, you're talking about, look at how much price confluence you have here. You really don't have a lot of price confluence. You're really entertaining coming all the way down to these levels, all the way down here, which would represent a significant drop. So you really want to see things hold out here. They're really, and again, one of the things, I was thinking at some point when I had a free moment to think today, one of the things that I did want to indicate to you guys, if a rising tide truly does lift all boats, okay, we really are going to see an alt season like I'm calling for, and like many analysts are calling for, all of these charts, okay, that are in these falling wedges or falling channels, and you're seeing a lot of depression in the altcoins, it is true, okay? Don't get me wrong. Even Casper, okay? Don't get me wrong. We're gonna come back to this chart in 2025, and you're gonna see we made some headway here. We had some sort of a bounce up. The question you have to ask yourself is, how high of a bounce up realistically will you get? Well, with a weak chart like this, I mean, we got to keep things in perspective. There isn't anything in this chart that is suggesting some sort of a massive break to the upside and we're going to set new all-time highs in the relativity value. Could that happen? Yes, we live in the realm of all possibilities, but what we try to do as a technical analyst is zero in on the more higher likelihood events, right? So based on this chart, it's a lot more likely that what we would do is revisit some key areas of price confluence. Let's say theoretically we bottomed right around here. It would be very realistic to say, okay, maybe we come up, somewhere towards the 0.618 to 0.786 fib retracement level. And actually, interestingly enough, if we look left, there actually is, and I didn't prep this ahead of time, but there is a lot of price confluence right around this area. So, we might be able to target a zone like this. And then the other thing you can do is when you begin to theorize a realistic level that your relativity value could revisit, what you can then do is figure out, hypothetically, where would Bitcoin be at that point in terms of price, and calculate a USD value for Sandbox in this case, and see if that's reasonable. Now, in this case, if we came up to the midpoint of this area at about the 4,802 area, I believe that would put this at $4.80. So let's see, that's 4 zeros. 0.12348 times 100,000. Let's say Bitcoin's at about 100,000. Yeah. So you can see, and if we pull up, and this is, again, this is all related information. I'm not going off on a tangent here. This is kind of what I would consider some valuable information you could use to try to come up with some theoretical targets, and we're not going that high. That was a long time ago that I put that up there. But one of the things you can do to try to figure out a realistic price target, okay, realistic price target that your USD value for an altcoin could get to, you can look at a Bitcoin relativity chart and ask the question, how high could you potentially see the relativity value going? And where could you theorize Bitcoin being at that point, okay? If we hone in on this level right here in the middle, and I think that's a very reasonable area. If Bitcoin, this area right, sorry, let me make this more clear for you guys. This area right here, okay? That blue line right here, let's take off the fib retracement level, right here. So if we bounced up, right, we created a lower high, but we came up somewhere in here. If Bitcoin was at $100,000, it would put Sandbox at almost $5. If Bitcoin was at $120,000, it would put Sandbox at $6. Now, is that realistic? If we go to the USD chart, you can see last time we topped out here, we topped out right in that $6 to $8 range. So what that would be suggesting, you got to ask yourself the question, is it reasonable to assume Sandbox could underwhelm, come up here and top within relative fashion somewhere within this range and create a lower high? Yeah, I think that's very realistic. We have a weaker Bitcoin relativity chart. I think the range we're projecting it to is reasonable once it does begin to break out. No guarantees, but if it begins to break out. And because we've already recognized that it's a weaker performer within the altcoin space, it should make sense that we're going to underwhelm and that we're not even going to break prior all-time highs. And maybe we hit a $5 to $6 price target. So to me, that's very reasonable. That's another way that you can use these relativity charts to try to theorize where price is going. I know there's obviously Fibonacci extensions, which we have taken a look at. But if you consider something like a quant, right? Quant was something we looked at a long time ago. A long time ago, I created a video. We looked at Fibonacci extensions. Quant's been an underperformer, so is it really realistic at this point to say Quant's going to like $1,200? I don't think so. I don't think it's going to hit $1,200 this year, and I don't think it's going to hit $1,200 next year, okay? So that's where you can use alternative views to try to come up with some sensible price targets. So Sandbox, that is my thoughts on Sandbox. What other ones? Akash Network, I think, is one that people are into. Could you start the stream with a starting soon image or something? YouTube is kind of weird, and we missed the first like 30 to 40 seconds. I wish I could, but I'll look into it. I think there might be a way to. Do like a countdown. The thing is, guys, some of these days, I just want to give you some transparency. Some of these days, it's a lot more challenging for me to get out here and make time, quite honestly, with work. So, like, I didn't know what time I was going to live stream today. I didn't even know if I was going to live stream, to be honest with you, the way I was feeling. So, but the days that I do plan it, yeah, I can look into that. And I do appreciate the suggestion. I just want to give you some transparency that, some days it's not as easy for me to get out here. But thankfully, any stress that I have is good stress. I don't have any bad stress like I had a few months ago, like I shared with you guys. The new job is going well. I'm really enjoying what I'm doing. It's providing some good learning opportunities and good challenges. So Akash here is looking good. Now, again, I don't think we have to do a whole lot of TA here. This is a relatively straightforward analysis. There's limited price data. Again, we only have price data going back to May of 22. So we've got, let's just call it 2 years of price data. Not a lot of price data here. But what I do like to see, even though we have limited price data, it's very clear to see we have higher lows coming in here, right? And we've got higher highs, right? We're Super Marioing. Super Mario, okay? So this chart, what this chart is telling me is not only have we outperformed Bitcoin, not only have we been outperforming solidly Bitcoin since May of 2023, this is a much stronger chart than many of the charts we've looked at, right? So I would put this in one of the stronger charts, and it should leave us feeling convicted. There's a higher likelihood Akash is going to continue to outpace many of the other altcoins in this space. And again, kind of common themes here. I want everyone hopefully has picked up now. This is 4 days we've been doing this. Newer tokens, a lot of the newer tokens have strong charts. Got to be a little bit careful there because the data is even more immature in a space that's immature in itself. There really isn't anything in this space that has a ton of price data. Even Bitcoin doesn't really have a ton. So there is limited price data, so we do have to be very cautious when making drawing conclusions on that. But the second thing is these charts, most of them are very clear in telling you which have been the biggest winners and which we can strongly opine on, feeling confident that they will continue to be the winners until proven otherwise. So I hope that's what everyone is picking up from these live streams. Akash looks solid, man. Gate token, blah, blah, blah. Chili's has fallen apart. I'd be curious to look at Chili's, man. It's really, unfortunately. And again, you look at something like Chili's, right? And someone might be a huge fan of this token, and they're like, oh my God, CBG, you don't understand. Chili's is going to... I'm not here to tell you what Chili's is or isn't going to do 10 years from now. I'm literally just interpreting the data for you and telling you factually what's going on in the chart. This is an abysmal chart. So Chili's is going to underperform until proven otherwise. Same with synthetics. We don't need to look at it. Okay, we've gotten through the top 100. Now, there's a couple miscellaneous BTC relativity charts I did want to dive into, and they are related to tokens that I have spoken to in the past. And let's give an honest, some of these I'm invested in, like Alchemy. This has been horrible, okay? Now, had I known that Alchemy would perform this terribly, do you think I would have invested when I did? No. No, I mean, I would not have. It's been a clear underperformer. You can see we've actually made new lows here relative to 23 and 22. The only thing I can point out on this chart, somewhat being familiar with it, we're looking at the weekly. You do have some bullish divergence coming in, suggesting we could see a bounce to the upside, but nothing's a guarantee. And at this point, these green lines need to turn red. At one point, when we were holding this area as support, it looked promising. Now we've broken down. This is not a good looking chart. And I hate to say this, but to my Digibyte community, fellow Digibyte members, because I am a Digibull myself, the chart hasn't really been too bullish. Yeah, man, I love the community. I love the OG token, but this is a broadening wedge. This target's unrealistic. I spoke about it, by the way, in a live stream. So, or not a live stream, in a video. That target is unrealistic, and actually I spoke to that. But let me see. I illustrated a technical target that didn't make any sense whatsoever. I remember that. Now, believe it or not, we still have bullish divergence on the RSI on the weekly. The RSI is going up, his price is going down. But guys, you know, could this end up being some sort of a deviation falling out of the falling wedge? Yes, and we could pop up. I'm not saying that we can't. But when I look at this chart, and I'm staying honest to being an unemotional technical analyst, like I do on this channel, guys, this is an extremely bearish chart. This is a horrific looking chart. And there's enough price data here, guys. We have price going back all the way to 18. This has been creating lower highs, lower lows. I mean, it's very reminiscent of Litecoin. Okay, a lot of these OG coins have just continued to bleed against Bitcoin. And that's why when you're coming up with price targets for something like a Digibyte or something like a Litecoin, you need to be realistic. And now that we have more data, I mean, honestly, if I had to come up with a price target for Digibyte, it's lower now than it was a year ago, 2 years ago. I would suspect, again, it's until proven otherwise, we have lower highs coming in. Digibyte has to show me something. I can't just believe in a project with empty hope because I like the community or I like the fundamentals, whatever the case is. All signs are pointing to the possibility of coming up to this area and rejecting here. So you can take this value in here, and if you multiply them by $100,000, of course, this chart, you can't take the values. You would have to, let me see, this is multiplied, oh, this is multiplied by 100,000. So the nice thing is, if Bitcoin is at $100,000, you can see the price targets here. You're talking 7 cents, 9 cents, 11 cents, 13 cents. That's being realistic. And so part of my own personal sell strategy is going to be based on looking at a chart like this. I'm not going to hope that Digibyte hits 30 cents or 40 or 50 cents. That to me is unrealistic based on the evaluation of the charts as price has continued to mature going in towards midpoint of 2024. And that's one of the ways, again, these relativity charts can be so helpful in creating an accurate depiction of the strength of your altcoin. So Digibyte, this is a very weak chart. I'm sorry, my fellow Digibyte community members. All right, so now what I'd like to do, I think I've pretty much gone through all the tokens that I wanted to. I want to create a list with you guys. The top Bitcoin relativity charts, and I have a very good memory. And I want you to call me out if I'm wrong. So the top charts here, number 1 is BNB. Number 2 is ETH. Number 3 is Solana. We're going to go right down the list. Let me know if I've missed any. We got BNB. We've got Ethereum. We've got Solana. I know I spoke to Doge. Give me 1 second. Okay. So we've got BNB, we've got Ethereum, we've got Solana, we've got Doge. I think, did we look at Toncoin? Because, I mean, that would be one, pretty sure, excuse me, I'm pretty sure we did. Ton is on Coinbase, isn't it? It's not? I thought it was. Huh. Really? What the fuck is going on? Here we go. Really? You really want to be an asshole? There we go. I don't think we looked at this one. I would not include this. I mean, we've started the rebound in 24, but not enough evidence for me to put this in the strongest of charts. Okay, so we've got Cardano. Haha, just kidding. We have Chainlink. Yeah, not so much. What else? What else? What else? Near. I remember Near was in the conversation. I think we're coming up on my personal favorite. Pepe was there. Ooh, give me a little Casper. Should I put Casper down as number 8? Oh, that's a joke. All right. Caspa, or yeah, Caspa. Render. Again, I've got a pretty good memory, but call me out if I'm missing something. Stacks. Tau. Where the hell's Black Oil at? Okay, we're already at 10. Dog with hat. Let's fucking go with community. Injective. Might have included Floki on there. Floki. I probably should include Brett, but you know what? We're going to have a whole list of meme coins. Bonk. I don't think Jasmine was on there. I really don't think... Was Jasmine on there? I honestly forget if Jasmine... Let's take a quick look together. I don't think it was. I think I was expecting it to be in the top, but I think it bled so much during the ICO. Yeah, like it's having a nice trend reversal to the upside, but there's just not enough there to say it's one of the strongest performers. I mean, this is like the elite list. Fetch AI. There's too many here. I've created too many. Son of a bitch. I know there was one here that I was surprised, and I wasn't even familiar with the token itself. What was... I wish I would have jotted these down along the way, because now this is going to be a little challenging. Definitely not. I think there's one I missed in here, and I'm going to have to go back. Starknet. So what we're going to do is, and we're not going to have time today to do this, but what we're going to do is I'm coming up with this list. All right, yeah, you're probably right. I did miss Casper. We got to definitely put that one down. Pendle was it. Pendle, that's right. Pendle, because I'm not familiar with the project. So I'm creating this list, and what we'll do next week, yeah, we'll do it like Monday or two. Probably Monday I'm going to want to take a look at the current price with you guys. I've completely been ignoring price action because there's really nothing to talk about, like I said. I've set you guys up with all the price levels and things to watch for. So next week, one of the days next week, we're going to revisit this list and call out the best ones. What about Singularity? I forget. don't think this one was... this one's not so bad. I'm going to include this one. $17. Tezos. Akash. And that was it. Okay, so we got 18 tokens. I'm going to read them off to you, okay? Out of the top 100, these are the 18 tokens that I have listed as being the strongest Bitcoin pairing charts, recognizing I excluded Brett because I was getting sick of listing meme coins, okay? We've got BNB, Ethereum, Solana, Doge, Near Protocol, Pepe, Caspa, Render, Stacks, Tau, With, Injective, Floki, Boner? No, Bonk. It looked like I wrote down Boner. I don't know what. Bonk. Bonk. Fetch AI, Pendle, Singularity Net, whatever the hell that thing's called, Ajax, Singularity Net, Akash. Those are the 18 tokens, and we are going to come back and we're going to rank. We're going to basically, I'll come up with the rules. Maybe we'll come up with the best 3, maybe the best 5 charts of those 18. We'll very quickly go through them. I'll try to be prepared for that live stream. Does anybody have a quick question or two for me? This is a pretty quick live stream today. Does anybody have a quick question or two for me today? Besides the fact of what's going on with my car and hoping that we finally figure this out tomorrow. We've got an airflow issue when we put it in drive. We're trying to figure it out. It's one of those things. It's like, I think the person that doesn't know what they're talking about says, "Hey, CBG, maybe it's time you get a new car. Hey, how about this is an easily fixable issue? We just have to diagnose. It's just tricky. It's tricky. Everything with the car runs perfect. It's just some sort of airflow issue. We've tried different things. Paul and I, we are, he's the detective. I'm trying to, I'm using ChatGPT to try to come up with solutions. But we're going to figure it out, though. Worst case scenario, which I hope to God is not the case, is I have to replace the engine control module, or essentially the engine control computer. And the reason that would be a pain in the ass is because I don't think he has the tools to link you. So when you get a Integra, it's one of those keys where the there's like a chip installed in the key, and it links up with that engine control module unit or engine control computer. And so you've got to reset things so that the key links up with the computer, and I don't know that he has the capacity to do that, which means I would have to take my car into a dealership, which is a goddamn nightmare, and I don't want to have to take my car into a dealership. Boner to the moon. RVR is the no-no zone. RVF. Rob Van Dam, RVD. Guys, I'll take a TA question real quick. Does anybody, hey, Track, I didn't see you there. Does anyone have a very quick technical analysis question for me? Could I realistically see ACH reaching 24 cents? Let's take a look. That's going to be the TA question for the day. Do I think that's realistic? Well, let me just start off by saying Alchemy has definitely underwhelmed. It has not been a strong performer in CBG's portfolio. We're in a general uptrend. This is very good to see. It does seem that I've signaled this target range here. So how did I come up with that? I'm assuming I did a trend-based fib extension. Can't find what I'm looking for. Where the hell am I at? I promise I haven't been drinking. My eyes are... There we go. Okay, between the 3 and 5. That aims up perfectly. So on our next movement up, if we hit a really high extension on the Fibonacci extension tool here to 368 to the 568, you could see something upwards of our prior all-time high at 24 cents. Now, I think now having the benefit of looking at the ACH BTC relativity chart and kind of putting to action what we've spoken to in terms of this being an underperformer, the question we need to ask ourselves is how high could this ratio chart theoretically go? Well, first off, I don't know that we've bottomed. Once Bitcoin makes its huge move up to the $80,000, $90,000 range, we're probably going to see another wick lower. I would say, based on downward resistance and based on price confluence, this would be my main target area that I'd want to see ACH get to, getting right up in this range. Now, getting up in that range, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So if I just divide it by 10. So that doesn't make sense. I hate doing math on the spot. I swear to God, I'm very good at doing quick math, but for some reason... You're not going to like my response to this, but ACH has to show me something, okay? Believe me, I have a vested interest in this thing taking off, but until proven otherwise, and the same comment goes for any other relativity chart, I have a hard time believing that, I have a very hard time believing we'll see sustained price movement up beyond the descending resistance. But we're going to have a very difficult time breaking this descending resistance, okay? Also, what we can do is we can carve out some zones of resistance here. This is a heavy zone of resistance. So I don't see it going above this area, okay? If we do, it's a win. Maybe we double top up here. I'm not saying... Hear what I'm saying. I'm not telling you that we can't break to the upside into this area. I'm not telling you that isn't possible. However, as a technical analyst, I'm telling you this is a weaker chart for reasons we've already discussed, and we have a downward area of resistance, and the chart has to show me something by breaking out above it. Could we get a wick into this area? Yes. If we got a wick into that area when Bitcoin is at $100,000, that puts ACH up in the 13 to 17 cent area. If Bitcoin were higher and it's at $150,000, that would put it in the 20 cent to 25 cent area. So do I think that reaching all-time highs or at least close to it is possible? Yes, I do think that's possible. But I think holding out for some sort of a massive rise up to $1, that psychological level, or 50 cents or 80 cents, unless if this cycle goes a lot longer than I'm anticipating and Bitcoin goes a lot higher than I'm anticipating, and this altcoin chart, this relativity chart starts to resurface to the upside and create higher highs and higher lows, I don't see that happening. So I think something close to the all-time high is reasonable, but I don't see it going much above that, if even reaching that, based on the charts we've looked at, right? Something has to turn around in the charts. We can't hope for something. We can't want to see something. We have to allow the charts to tell us what is most probable. And based on what the chart is saying right now, I would be aiming for something between 13 cents and, the prior all-time high up here at 24 cents. That's what I would be aiming towards, which is only I say only, but still it's a good return, but in crypto terms, that's only roughly a 6.5x to 12x from current levels, 6.5 to 12x. So really, relative to a lot of other returns you could get in other assets, not that great, right? All right, guys, I am going to tune out. I appreciate the support on the channel as always. Originally, I thought maybe I'd do a bonus live stream tomorrow. I don't, unfortunately, know that that's going to happen, but always be on the lookout. Have that bell icon clicked for all notifications, because if we do get some excitement in this market, one of these Fridays, Saturdays, or Sundays, you can count on me going live. So until next time, everybody, let's all spread awareness Let us all carry the education forward. Take care, everybody. Good to see you.